I'm currently a sergeant in the U.S. Marine Corps Reserves, and coming up on the end of my contract, 6 years. In that time, I was activated for several months in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. I also attend Wayne State University for my Doctor of Pharmacy curriculum, and when it's all said and done next May, I'm going to owe close to $70,000 in student loans. I've got a little document here. So I'm going to owe $7,000 in student loans, and my GI Bill benefits will be exhausted at that point. As you know, Senator Jim Webb has introduced the Post 9/11 Veterans Educational Assistance Act to help negate this. Okay. Once your bill was brought to your attention, you had, at a VFW hall meeting, you had stated you hadn't had a chance to review it yet. And 2 to 4 weeks later, you had introduced your own legislation because you thought it would hurt retention. Now, I've done some research, and in 2000, the average payment to active duty GI Bill was $650. In 2005, that value was increased to $1,034, almost 100%. I've looked at data on retention, and in 2005 fiscal year, the Army, Air Force, and Marine Corps reported no reduction in retention. Again, in 2006, there was no reduction in retention. And in 2007, the Department of Defense stated, retention remains extremely strong in the active force, with all services having met or exceeded their aggregate year-to-date targets. Based on averages from the College Board, they say that the average cost of attendance is $17,000 per year at a public university. Under your bill, it will provide, for that same time, $12,000, leaving that veteran $5,000 in student loans, and over the course of a 4-year degree, $20,000 in student loans still. Here at Oakland University, it mimics that. It's $17,000, and this is the average university. At the VFW, okay, you stated veterans of previous wars are treated as directly related to our ability to recruit the finest of Americans to serve in our nation's military. Yes, 79% of members of our military do not have a diploma right now, and 15% have criminal waivers. Senator, my question is, when are we going to start rewarding our veterans for their service by providing them adequate college education instead of punishing them with student loans?
Thank you, sir, and thank you for the question. Thank you for your service to our country, and I'm very grateful, and I hope you will continue to do so, and we're honored for service. We don't have a big enough Army and Marine Corps today, and you know that probably far better than I do. And that's why we've had to ask these brave young Americans to go back and back and back and back, including the strain on our Guard and Reserve is probably greater than it's been at any time certainly probably since World War II by any measurement. I worry about recruitment, and that means added incentives for educational benefits, pay, etc. I worry about retention. A lot of young officers at the rank of captain, as you know, that have reached the end of their obligated service, we're having some difficulty in that retention. The non-commissioned officer, all these things I'm not telling you, but I'm trying to tell our participants here who may not be as familiar as you are. First of all, let me say I'm proud to have received the highest award of every veterans organization in America, not because of any reason, but for my many years of dedication to the veterans and the care and affection and appreciation that I have for them. So I'm proud of that, whether it be the VFW, the American Legion, the DAV, any of the other organizations, and I will continue that advocacy. I also want to increase educational benefits and do whatever it takes to both recruit and retain men and women in the military. I have some differences in that view. Senator Lindsey Graham, who is a reserve and has remained in the Air Force Reserve and serves his active duty in Iraq, is the major sponsor of this legislation. He shares that same dedication. So do many others. We will, I hope, be able to work out any differences that we have. But I want to, of course, reward the person who stays in the military longer with greater incentives to stay in, as opposed to someone only staying a few years. Because I also want Americans to serve, but I also want dedicated Americans to serve as long as possible. And I will do whatever is necessary for what I've done my entire life, and my family for generations before me and generations after me, to do everything I can to help the veterans of this nation and the men and women who are serving to get the educational benefits that they need and deserve. And at the same time, try to care for this nation's national security needs, which are keeping and incentivizing talented professional men and women to remain in the military and make it a career. We need a certain number of those to do that as well.